I'm curious.
What we wanted to do was share our church's history with you, and not to panic, the title of this is 100 Years of History in 10 Minutes. So this will be snappy, you'll learn a lot, and if you don't like it, it'll be over soon. Then we'll do some singing after that, some German songs. Turn this over.
The year was 1895. The Iowa Synod of the Evangelical and Reformed Church looks east to reach new people, to the church, the unchurched, especially the unchurched German immigrants. Synod President Fred Wernig talks to Reverend Off about his work in Rock Island, Illinois.
How's things going to the settlers of church in Rock Island?
It's terrible. I talk to the people. They have no interest in church work. They're indifferent to religion and speak openly about how they hate the church.
You must go back and try harder. You are the last hope for these people.
A new congregation is organized with 26 men and their families. They call themselves officially the Deutsche Evangelische Friedensgemeinde. The interim minister is Reverend Rasha.
Guten Tag, meine Damen und Herren.
1897 brought the first full-time pastor, Reverend Theo Kruger.
Guten Tag und meinen Herren.
He and the congregation had disagreements and he left. He was followed by two interim ministers, Reverend Janka
Guten Tag und meinen Herren.
and Reverend Dexheimer.
Guten Tag und meinen Herren.
In 1900, Reverend Trepser arrives. Maybe 11 minutes.
Guten Tag und meinen Herren.
All is well, and the ladies' aid takes a loan to buy property and build a parsonage. Unfortunately, Reverend Trepser has a falling out with the congregation, and many leave. The ladies still need to pay their debt.
Hello, I'm Emma Kahn, president of the Ladies' Aid. If something needs fixing, we've got the chicken.
In 1904, Reverend Ed Klipke arrives.
Guten Tag und meinen Herren.
He was able to bring people back, but he moved on to a larger church in Des Plaines. Reverend Wernig talks to 22-year-old Fred Rolfe.
Rolf, I need you to go to Rock Island. If it doesn't work, it's all over for the Church of Peace.
Reverend Rolfe feels strongly a new location would help the church grow, and in 1911 he brings the idea of a new church to the congregation.
Building a new church is our last hope for a new congregation.
And the people shouted, "No!" In March of 1912, he again brought the idea of a new church to the congregation.
Building a new church is our last hope for the congregation.
And the people shouted, "Yes!" The church buys 2 lots at 12th Street and 12th Avenue. The old parsonage is moved from 9th Street. George Studahar, a prominent Rock Island architect, designs a 60-foot by 60-foot building in an unusual Byzantine Revival style. But it's the domed tower that gives the structure its unique look. The stained glass windows come from the Chicago firm of Kinsella, described as second only to Louis Comfort Tiffany. The $20,500 cost leaves a debt of $14,500, which is assumed by individuals and the Ladies' Aid.
I'm Emma Kahn. Remember me? I'm the president of the Ladies' Aid. If something needs fixing, we've got the chicken.
The special Easter offering was begun.
In 1915, the church buys a pipe organ. And in 1916, the Ladies' Aid buys a bell for the tower for $1,500.
Hello, it's me again. I'm Emma Kahn, president of the Ladies' Aid. Remember, if it needs fixing, we've got the chicken.
After 1920, all services are in English, and the name changes to the Evangelical Church of Peace. Reverend Rolfe wants a new parsonage and a larger church. Finally, in 1927, he tells the congregation,
Building a larger church is our last hope.
and the people shout, "Yes!" The church doubles the interior capacity of the sanctuary. Rock Island architect Ben Horn uses George Studahar's original plans, and the church adds a beautiful parsonage with old world craftsmanship. The new construction is dedicated in the spring of 1927.
The anniversary debt fund drive begins.
After 43 years and grows to 600 members, Reverend Rolfe retires. In 1952, Reverend Rolfing comes. His goal is to complete the dream.
This is our last hope. We complete the vision of our forefathers. We must build the Memorial Education Church School building.
Construction begins in 1955 and dedication is in 1956. In 1963, Reverend Schmidt arrives. He begins a fund drive to wipe out debt and make improvements.
We'll start a fund drive, reduce our debt, and make improvements.
The Sacrifice of Thanksgiving fund drive raises $7,000.
1969 brings Ken Kenning and his young family to the Church of Peace. He sees the tension building from the changing neighborhood. The Christian service meets weekly for 2 years, studying. Their recommendation is to fulfill our mission in the neighborhood around us. Some members say, "Stay here," while others say, "Move away."
This is our last hope for this church to stay vital and be God's hands in this neighborhood. Even though some say we'll be here 5 years from now.
The vote says stay, and we've lasted 37 years more. Council President Dan Van Zandbergen said at the time, "We're in a strategic location to carry out our mission to the needs of our community, as well as to our members. We'll demonstrate our Christian faith by our Christian work." We begin the Community Caring Conference under Reverend Swartz's watch. Expand our outreach in the face of poverty and neglect. For many, the Church of Peace is the lasting hope in this city.
All right, thank you very much. If you want to find the Lieder Fest, the Song Fest, we'll sing a few German tunes.